Panama orange, golden lime, cocktail orange. What we call the calamondin is properly called a calamansi. It's native to the Philippines and was brought to Florida in 1899. It quickly became a staple of old Florida cooking until it just disappeared again, mostly, as the commercial market dried up and left backyard trees the main source of fruit in the state. We have one, and it's overflowing this year, so I'm making another calamondin pie. Calamondins are a cross between a tangerine and a kumquat. They're ever-bearing trees, which means they flower and fruit year-round. They're smaller than key limes and taste very sour on their own. We mostly use them in cocktails like gin and tonics and Cuba Libres, but when we have a bumper crop, I make pie. Calamondin pie is an old Florida standard. The kind of thing you find in cookbooks like this. It's very similar to a key lime pie recipe-wise, but more orangey. I'm going to start by making a graham cracker crust. I combine a sleeve of graham crackers, a third of a box, in a mini food processor. Then add a third cup of sugar and 5 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. After mixing well, I dump it into a pie plate and press the mixture into the bottom and up the sides. I don't worry too much about making it even up the side. It's going to be covered by meringue anyway. Then, it goes into a 350-degree oven for about 8 minutes, just until it's a little golden, then gets put on a rack to cool. In the meantime, I'll start the tedious part, zesting 30 calamondin. They are very small and have super thin skins, so I have to be very careful how hard I push the fruit against the microplane. I get as much zest as possible from each fruit before it gets too juicy. Then I add it to a bowl to actually juice later. I periodically stop and clean the microplane. After a while, the oils can make it unusable. I'm not as concerned with the amount of zest, although I would like as much as possible. I'm zesting 30 calamondin because that's about how many I need to get 1 cup of juice. Once the zesting's done, I juice them with a hand juicer, 1 to 2 at a time. I'm sure this would be easier if I had one of those fancy juicers, but I make do. I ended up needing 3 extra calamondin, but 30 was a pretty good guess. Now that I have the juice I need, I put it into a small saucepan and add a half a cup of sugar. I start it on high and let it get to a rolling boil. Then I turn it to medium and let it keep cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes, trying to thicken it up and get about 3/4 of a cup of syrup. Once it's done, I'll let it cool down while I get the rest of the filling started. I need to separate 4 eggs. I'm using a chopstick to hold up the egg separator while I crack each egg into the bowl. The yolks go into the mixer and the whites are set aside and used for the meringue. I'm adding about 2/3 of the calamondin zest to the yolks and whisking on high until well combined, 2 to 3 minutes. Then, I'll add the can of sweetened condensed milk slowly. After stopping to scrape down the bowl, I add the calamondin syrup slowly until just combined. Then, I scrape the mixture into the pre-baked pie crust and bake at 350 for 10 minutes, just until it's set. Once the pie is out of the oven, I sprinkle it with the remaining calamondin zest and leave it to cool. I turn up the oven to 450. I whip the egg whites and a 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar on high until soft peaks form, about 2 minutes. Then I'll add a 1/4 cup of sugar in a slow stream until stiffer peaks form. I like to seal my pies completely with meringue, so I make sure it touches the pie plate all around. I put it in the oven for about 5 minutes, making sure to watch carefully after 3. I want the meringue browned, not burnt. Once the meringue is done, I let the pie cool for about 30 to 45 minutes and put it in the refrigerator to chill completely. Now it's time for a taste. The pie cuts pretty easily, so I just use a butter knife and a pie server to get the first slice out. The pie is perfectly set, so the slice comes out clean. No small feat. Calamondin pie is definitely more sour than key lime, so small slices will do. Keeping old Florida traditions alive is important to us, and being able to enjoy such unusual fruit from our own garden reminds us why we love life in the Sunshine State.